Hey, we're live. Hello, everybody. I am so glad to see people watching. Starting a bit late today because I was out doing stuff and didn't get back until like 5 o'clock my time. So, and then even later than I meant to because I couldn't find my drawing glove. I don't know what's up with that. Um, I guess I left it somewhere and the cats ran off with it, is what I assume happened. Um, So I just decided, what the heck, I'll draw without it, I guess. Um, I'll look for it later. But yeah, I'm really happy to be streaming. It's been a, man, has it been a past couple of weeks? I hope everyone is doing okay. I have been in a like very low mood migraine slump for the past like 2 weeks. So once again, the Project Zomboid stream was cursed because I wound up actually having a migraine that day. Um, but we're here. We're gonna draw. I don't have a lot of plans for today specifically. I don't even know what I feel like drawing right now. So I'm gonna start with some warm-ups and then see how I feel. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. Let's see. Hello, everybody. So as usual, I'm just gonna start with like some spirals and some lines, etc., etc. And then we'll move on to figure drawing. So possible nudity warning for that part, as usual. And then we'll see what project I feel like working on today. But yeah, oof. Let's find out if I can draw straight lines to save my life. I also feel like I was going through an art slump, so that's gonna make this stream interesting. My coloring has been really wonky lately. I feel like I'm just having trouble building palettes that I am happy with, and lighting and shapes that I'm happy with recently that are clear. And I don't know, shape language is one of those things that I never formally learned, like shape language and coloring and rendering, etc. It's all self-taught. So I feel like there are holes there, and then those holes really come through on bad art days. So I haven't really found any tutorials online yet that have really made sense to my brain. So, but it's one of those fundamentals that I need to learn. I feel like there's a lot of it for me is just intuitive, and that's where I run into problems. Because when the intuition isn't intuitioning, then I really start struggling. Yeah, the migraines have sucked. But, you know, I have my medication. It works out fine. It just usually means that either I get a very... Oh, Lord. Struggling without my drawing glove today. I either get a very late start to the day or a very early end. Because I just kind of wind up in bed with the lights off. But, wow, I'm struggling with lines. It's the lack of glove. That's what's going on. But yeah, hopefully everybody else is having an okay week. And I updated Boundless Sky, though. I feel very, very good about that. And it was so I was so satisfying to get to hand it to you guys. Because I've been working on that chapter since, like, last November. In terms of formally working on it, like, I've been poking at that idea for that chapter for longer. But in terms of actually trying to write that specific Elodin and Elrohir chapter, it has been months. Literally since last year. So it was very, very gratifying to be able to give it to everybody and see everybody's reactions to it. Because it's one of those Boundless Sky chapters that has been very, what's the word? Vivid? The imagery in it has been very vivid since like day one. of conceptualizing Boundless Sky. That was one of those chapters where I was like, I knew exactly what I wanted. There were specific scenes that in it that were fully formed to me. And it was one of those chapters that kind of made the plot click. So I was just very excited to finally have it in a state where I was happy with it. It looked the way I wanted it to, it sounded the way I wanted it to, and I was able to share it. So, super gratifying. Forgot to download the updated EPUB, so thank you for reminding me. Yes! I'm so glad I could remind you. But the next 2 chapters, I think are going to be set in Rivendell. See, I'm always waffling with the pacing in Boundless Sky because I am juggling so many character perspectives. And so it's not that I don't know where I'm going, it's that I don't know exactly how I will arrange the individual chapters from, like, chapter to chapter necessarily, or rather the perspectives. So in theory, the next couple of chapters, there's a lot that needs to get done in Rivendell to move things forward. I have plans for Maglor swearing fealty to Elrond, because we have to deal with Istiel. We have to deal with the tinderbox that is having a Fëanorian in Rivendell. So that's in the works. And then we have to work on Elrian's nightmares to actually do some meaningful coaching on how to so that, because, you know, she's not going to be rid of them, but we need to do some meaningful coaching on how to handle them, you know. It was straight up horror. I loved it. Yes, I love writing horror, honest to God. It is one of my favorite things to write in general, and I feel like it always makes its way into whatever I write. I can't help myself. It's so much fun. Especially like cosmic horror and Lovecraftian horror always makes its way into everything that I work on. So, real quick, I'm feeling just semi-okay with where my arm is at right now, so I'm gonna swap over to figure drawing. So again, possible nudity on my screen. If that's not something you can have on your screen, just click away real quick. But we're gonna just do some quick figure drawing. Hello! You write horror so well, thank you! And the missing Lembas, yes, good catch. Good catch. That's very important. The missing Lembas is crucial, actually, to what is going on with the Rivendell plotline and the kids. It's a very big deal. But I can't give too much away about that, but I feel like there's not a lot to give away about that, you know? I feel like, at least I should hope that I've set it up enough that you guys know where that's going. In terms of where the Lembas has gone and where it's disappeared to. But, yeah. I'm so excited for more Rivendell to publish in any order you like. Thank you. Really, the question is, do I... Because I left the Fram chapter on such a sort of cliffhanger. It's not really a cliffhanger, but I left it on a question. And so I'm trying to decide if I do 2 chapters of Rivendell, or if I do a chapter of Rivendell and then a Fram chapter, and then do, you know, more more Fram. But, and yes, that's the thing. There's going to be so much Thalianal development, and actually I believe one of the key Thalianal scenes is going to show up. Which I think I've posted partial already via an ask on Tumblr. But in any case, one of the key Thalianal scenes for this next part is going to show up in the next 2 chapters, I believe. I have plans. Oh, and the other thing we have to get to as well before too long for plot reasons is Elrond needs to fix Maglor's hands, more or less, to at least give him partial motor function back. So that's something that needs to get done. So there needs to be another medical surgery chapter. And he needs to actually finish his song. This is an interesting pose. I'm not doing very well with with this one. Excited for more Thaliadal development? Me too! It's the Thaliadal fic. I was about to say book. But it's the Thaliadal book fic. So there's so much Thaliadal development happening. Maglor needs working hands to play nice music for grandbabies. Exactly. And to protect grandbabies from events that are going to be happening here shortly. So he just needs his hands in general. Yeah, I'm not being very good about being quick about these gestures and throwing the figure down. It's because I'm not focusing very well because I'm talking about Boundless Sky, but that's fine. I'm just here to hang out and have fun. But yeah, so there's a lot of things that need to happen in the next couple of chapters to finish. I feel like I've been doing so much setup for Boundless Sky. Hello, hi, new people. But yeah, the next couple of chapters, I know I've been doing so much setup. I feel like Boundless Sky has really been nothing but setup so far, and we're so many chapters into it. But there's just so much going on. There's so many things to introduce. The plot is huge. I know I said this last time, but like I cannot express to you guys how huge the plot is. Oh, you're new to the channel? Well, welcome! We just do art and sometimes gaming and mostly talk about Lord of the Rings. So that's what we're doing. Welcome. I'm so glad that you hopped in. Right now I'm very badly trying to do gestures because I'm not focusing very well. But this is just my warm-up, and then I'll move on to like some pieces that I'm working on. But man, these are terrible. It doesn't help that I don't have my art glove. I know I already said that, but good lord. Yes, but like that Tumblr meme about what the hands are for. Play music for the grandbabies, holding grandbabies, protecting the grandbabies. Exactly. That's exactly it. This is another one of those poses. I know you guys can't see it, but you'll see it as I throw it down, that I just don't understand how to draw because of the extreme position the pelvis is in. Actually, we're gonna go back. It already swapped me onto a new pose, but I don't care. And I am, again, using line of action to throw poses at me. But I just feel like whenever the pelvis gets put into these, like, extreme positions, I never know how the anatomy works. So I really should practice more. What is a drawing glove? It is a glove that covers, like, it's like the opposite of an archery glove. So it covers your pinky and sometimes your ring finger, and your thumb. Well, it doesn't actually cover your thumb. It goes over your thumb so that your hand doesn't catch on the screen. Like, your skin doesn't stick to the screen when you're drawing, so it allows for smoother gliding across the screen. Because you get sweaty and stuff, and then your hand starts sticking. And mine actually is homemade because the ones that come with the kits, the one that came with my tablet, I can't speak today. The one that came with the tablet does not fit me because my hand is too small. So, I just bought like a kid's glove and then cut the pointer and the middle finger and the thumb out, and I use that. But I don't know where it is. Normally it just lives on my desk, but I think one of the cats thought it was a toy and ran off with it. Oh my gosh, Jazz, do you have a version of that meme with baby E&E? I have to see it. You'll have to send me a link. But yeah, today is another one of those days where I haven't fully decided what we're working on in terms of art. So I have a couple options and I probably will let you guys decide what you want to see. Because I have a lot of work in progresses right now and a lot of like different things I could be doing. But and I'm just going to be drawing figure drawings until I feel sufficiently warmed up. And then we'll do more. We'll move on to something. But right now, I don't feel like I'm very, very solidified into my art brain currently. But also, well, that's not true. I'm in an art brain. I'm in an art brain focus because I've just finished looking at so much pretty art with Blue Eye Samurai, which, by the way, if you guys have not watched it, please watch it. It's so good and it's so pretty. But yeah, I just feel like the lighting in it especially is so good. It makes me want to do more cool things with lighting. Because lighting is one of those things that I resolved to work on, especially once I got a tablet. And because now I work like primarily digitally. Purely because I don't have to pay money for materials and then I don't stress out about wasting materials if I make a mistake. So yeah, it is so good. And it's just so inspiring to see the art in that. And it also makes me want to work on backgrounds more, settings, because that's another one of my horrible weaknesses, because I just don't like doing them. I find them incredibly boring. And I try to force myself to put my characters in physical space, and rather than just simple backgrounds all the time, simple like blocks of color. But I just don't like doing it. It's boring. But then I know that my art really suffers because I don't even know how to draw a bush. And that sounds dumb because how can you not know how to draw a bush? But like, I don't know. I can never draw one in a way that looks good to me. So, but that's because I spend all my time drawing people and literally nothing else. But yeah, I really should just like set some art goals this year, I think, and then work through them. It might be a fun thing to stream, honestly. Is just practicing specific things that I'm weak at. And then you guys can all see my shame. Cause yeah, all I ever do all day is figure drawing and portraits. And so, and like I have gotten decently good at horses, but that's because I was a horse girl when I was a kid. So that's literally all I drew. But oh, whoa, what is this pose? Oh, that's really cool. Okay. Because he's got his neck like... He's like bending over backward toward the camera is what's happening. But he's also got... He's a thin dude, so he's got a really pronounced ribcage. It's really cool looking. And he's like hyper extending all of his joints. And we got a little booty back here. And the leg comes down that way. But my reference photo is gone now. So do another one of these. Mostly what I have to work on today in terms of art is coloring. Like I have a couple projects that I could be doing sketches for, but we'll see what I wind up working on. But I'm really not doing a lot of construction today, which is unusual for me. But it's kind of a nice challenge. But I also feel like I'm not being very accurate, which is annoying. Oh, yay, the meme. But yeah, so Boundless Sky, there's a lot. There's so much of the plot that I have been setting up for so long that is finally going to start to come to fruition in the next couple of chapters. And I'm so excited. I am so outrageously excited. I know I keep saying that, like, oh, there's so much coming up, but like for real there is. It's just taking me forever to get there. But and yeah, so much of it hinges around Lionel. I like got into concentrating mode, so I'm talking less. Bad habit. Also, I am so excited for the Netflix Avatar to be coming out. So it's like I'm excited, I'm terrified also, I should say. Yeah, meanwhile in Linden. Oh, the Partake plotline is a whole mess. And Arrestor is pissed, as he has a right to be. It's like foreshadowing going on this foreshortening. I'm trying to talk about writing and drawing at the same time. Foreshortening happening on this hand, and I'm not doing it very well. Oof. But yeah, just Arrestor is pissed. I think there's a good next half of the chapter that's dedicated to Arrestor is pissed off. Got a leg coming down here, which I need to stop neglecting these legs, and a leg coming down here. I do have a little penis and a little ball sack, which I have only half learned how to draw, but that's because when I was doing figure drawing, like in art class, I was the type of artist who just kind of left a vague void in my drawings because I didn't understand how to draw those pieces of anatomy, and I was very shy about it because I was just coming out of like my conservative upbringing, and my mother warned me. That was one of the things she heard I was taking an art class at community college, and she warned me. She was like, "There's gonna be naked people, and you're gonna be shocked, and it's not healthy for you." And I was like, "Mom, it'll be fine, I'm sure." And I just didn't tell her. I was still living with my parents at the time. I just did not tell her. I think I lied. I think I made up that the models, I'm like, "Oh, don't worry, Mom, they wear underwear," and she was okay with that. But Anyway, fun random story times from growing up in a very conservative household. My mother, I just knew that they would have made me stop taking the class. And it was a really good class. But the poor thing, I think that was my first exposure to a penis. Was life drawing, which is not a bad first exposure to a penis, I will say. That's not a bad way to I think it's really healthy, is what I'm trying to say. To start to stop viewing all nudity as sexual. Because it's really not. That's just what humans look like. And there's no need to be freaky about it. But God forbid when I was, a little conservative baby 20-something ever see a penis. Oh. She meant well. She really meant well. But yes, all that to say, there are several types of artists in life drawing classes, and you can always tell what kind of artist they are by how they draw people's junk. Whether or not they leave like a vague void, or if they go into like immaculate detail, or some artists will like manufacture a little like modesty cloth. I was not one of those. I just left a vague void because I didn't know what to do. Yeah, my mom still has issues with my art because I draw nudity a lot. Yeah, I wish that people would stop feeling like nudity is always sexual, because it's just not. It's just what bodies look like, and they're awesome. Okay, I think that's enough figure drawing. So I have a couple options of what we could do. I still have winter requests that I could work on. That would be a sketch, because I literally haven't started any new ones yet because I've been too busy. Or I still have, where is it? I have the Clint Kiss that we could work on today. That would be more like refining and then maybe throwing down some color. And then if you guys just want to see me fuss around with coloring and maybe some rendering, we have this. This little shippy nonsense art. So that's my options. That's what I'm feeling like doing today. So I either like some Clint Kiss, some winter requests that would be more sketching, or more of a more of this. But I've been fussing around with this. This has been sitting on my drive for an embarrassingly long time, purely because I could not find a good reference for Charles Edward's face. There's just not enough good references of him in profile. So he just did not look right when I was drawing him the first time, and I had to fuss around with the sketch. Okay, well, I'm biased, but I'm voting for Berbrand. Valid. So valid. Okay, Spooky Rond. Yeah, Spooky Rond or Spooky Million. Okay. He's so spooky. I also don't know if you guys saw it very well in the preview sketch that I posted, but he does have a little extra eyeball on there. It's not like rendered or anything yet, but it's there. It's on his head. He's a little extra eyeball happening right now. But all right. I think that's 2 for Spooky Rond. So I think we'll start working on that. I haven't even, so with the situation with the background here, as that was just me playing around with like colors, shapes, and palettes, I don't actually even know if any of those shapes are going to stay. But they're just, I like the idea of playing with manipulating how the light is bending around him and how his shadow is being cast on the wall. So vote something spooky. All right. I think we're doing this one. I think that's what we're working on. Which is going to be mostly rendering. I have to figure out, I didn't label any of my layers, so now I have to figure out what layer things are on. I'm gonna think I don't want my lines to be black for this. I think I kind of want them to be like a brown. I just think the black is too harsh. Yeah, I think I like that better. But yeah, I could not find a good reference photo. It was really, well, I did find one eventually. It was really hard to find a good reference photo of Charles Edwards and like a side profile. So I was struggling. Okay, that's what layer that's on. So that's where I've started my render. I should label that. I don't know why I'm like chronically allergic to labeling my layers. And then I wind up with a huge mess of layers on the side. But this was one of those. I have a reference photo that was saved in my Brimbrand folder for ages. And this is me finally going, all right, I'm gonna draw that reference photo. Because it was just too perfect. Too perfect for them. But yeah, I think what I want to do in terms of color is probably overlay this with like a blue overlay layer and then still have the yellow background. But that's I hesitate to say the lazy way of doing that. From my perspective as a primarily traditional artist, that is the lazy way of doing the coloring and the lighting. I know that's a very common way of rendering things digitally, is to just do an overlay layer and or a multiply layer. but yeah, Elrond deserves extra eyes. He deserves all the eyeballs that he wants, honestly. But also, I'm really sorry if anybody gets motion sick. This is going to be a lot of like zooming in and looking at stuff. And just cleaning up the colors that I threw down. But yeah, I think I want to, do like a bluey overlay layer for the shadow, and then just rim lighting or something in a like a warmer orangey tone. We'll see how it shakes out. But see, where's my new skin brush? I think this is the one that I keep liking for skin recently. Yeah, it is. Except not that intense. Melts. Yes. This piece of art is insanely self-indulgent for me. Like insanely. But what are we on this earth to do if not make art that makes us happy? You know? But this is more of a, I think this might be more of a purpley color than I want, but we'll see how it goes. But I'm just going with like a more desaturated, cool tone for the shadows. And then for the subscatter, I'm going to go in with the same sort of tone, but redder. Ooh, that's more intense than I want it to be. Hang on, different brush. And then we'll blend it out for the subscatter. And sometimes I've picked the right tone and this works out perfectly, and sometimes I haven't and it looks terrible. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm going to be going over this a lot and fussing with it. Want to say thank you for putting up with my ghost antics yesterday. I promise I'm normal. You know, never be normal about media that you like. I think it's perfectly healthy to be a little bit insane about... Does this not have an opacity setting? I haven't... Apologies. I've not played very much with my new brushes. This is also... Ooh, this is also an opportunity for me to play with new brushes. Because I have a lot... What I normally work with is I normally work with this gouache brush. But my one complaint about it is that it has this tapered edge. And so if I want like a more painterly look to my work, usually you want more of a squarish edge so that you can really see the brush strokes. And I really like this brush, but I have yet to really learn how the opacity and sensitivity work on it. So we're learning. We are learning. I think I want redder for his ear. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Look, takes one to know one. I love how Elrond's cloak looks extra wing-like. Yes, okay, I have to brag for a second, because I started drawing Elrond in winged cloaks far before the show ever put him in winged cloaks, as in before the show ever came out. And that's my one claim to fame is, like I yelled when I first saw them put him in, and realized that like bumping my mic, realizing that the costume that they had designed for him had wings. It's like, oh my god, somebody else thought of it, but I thought of it first. Yeah, I just love the idea of Elrond in winged cloaks. I think it's so fun. But because it's like, it's both a Melian reference with Melian's connection to birds, as well as an Elving reference. And I just think that's awesome. But yeah, that's why I think I've said this before on stream, but, or I know I've said this before somewhere anyway. I was not a fan of the taupe sort of, his taupe travel cloak in the show. I was not a fan of it. I didn't understand the color, and I didn't really think that particular color looked very good on Robert Aramayo in most shots, like with his skin tone. It looked pretty decent in all of the scenes that were set in Khazad-dûm, just because of the lighting that they had there. But I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of it until I realized that what they had done was they had put him in an outfit that was the exact color of a nightingale's wing. And it had the wing details on the shoulders, and then I was obsessed with it. So, yeah. Wing cloaks are the best Elrond garb. Yeah, agree. Actually, a firm believer in putting Elrond in a wing cloak to turn into a bird like a Selkie. Yeah! Yeah, the shape-shifting. Oh, I've done this incorrectly, actually, for how I want. I went into a habit of coloring him, and I just realized this is wrong. So anyway, excuse me while I just delete my art real quick. Because this is Eldritch Elrond, so he is glowy. So what I need is I actually need a lighter color. So we're still making it a cooler tone, but we're pulling it much, much brighter and redder. Because it's the blood in his body that is showing through the skin. And then we'll use that. I was like habitually just going down my normal coloring routine, and then I was like, oh wait, no. So basically what I do with the Eldritch Paradel when I'm coloring is all of the places that would be dark, I make light to add to that extra glowy effect. It's like the under eye, the cheekbone, etc. All of the areas that I would normally shade in. And then especially like the places where the skin is thin. So like the ear. Because like when we're standing in sunlight, when humans are standing in sunlight, you get a lot of that light that comes through the skin. There's a term for that, I forget what it's called. But that's essentially what's happening here. So all of the places where the skin is thinner is going to be redder. And then naturally I want the edges to be brighter. And we're gonna want some red for the nose. But yeah, speaking of Eldritch Paradel, I have so much more coming in terms of Partake, and I'm so excited. We literally have not scratched the surface of my plans for Eldritch Paradel and Partake. And Gil is going to just have to deal with it, essentially. But yeah, all of the places that would be a highlight, I'm making a much cooler tone, or like I should say desaturated pink. And then the places that would be shadow, I'm using more of the red orange. Elrond is light. Facts. Yep. Correct. And then what we're gonna do is we'll do a clipping mask for his lines. And well, sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. It depends on if I decide that I like it on any given day. But we'll see. In theory, what I'll do is I will do a clipping mask over Elrond's lines and then recolor them to like a white or a really bright pink, and that will make him glow at the edges. But we'll see if I wind up getting to that today. I think I like that better without that. One of these days, what I do want to do too, in terms of like a little project, is I would like to go through and redesign almost all of the Rings of Power outfits. I've already sort of done that in terms of I do draw them a bit differently than how they are in the show. But I would like to, I think it'd be fun to go and do a formal redesign of some of those outfits that I just dislike, or that, not even that I dislike, I just wish that they had gone a bit harder on some of them. I know some of that is down to not having unionized costumers, and some of that is down to, well, it shouldn't be down to budget, honestly, with how much money they spent on that show, but I don't want to say cowardice. I don't want to make too many assumptions, because again, I know that everybody who worked on that show, or at least most of the artisans who worked on that show, worked on it out of a place of great love. So I don't want to say that it was cowardice or something, but I just feel like there were a lot of points where the outfits could have gone a bit harder, or been more interesting, or been a bit less gendered in some areas. Does that make sense? So, and to be fair, again, it's the first season, and the first seasons of anything are never perfect, and I know that costuming tells a story of a character's arc as much as the writing does, and so, for instance, Elrond doesn't have these full-winged capes. Maybe he will by the end of the show, I don't know. That would be a really cool development if they decided to go that direction with his costuming. But in any case, I think it'd be fun to do some like costuming redesigns, and also just like costuming designs of some of the stuff that I've come up with in Partake. I have a couple like work in progresses sitting around that I could be working on, but I get intimidated because I don't really know how to draw clothes. So because I really have a very loose grasp on how structuring and like seam work and especially clothing folds work. So I'm mostly making it up as I go along. And I'm never 100% happy with it. I think what I want to do with his... kind of want some blue on his face. Just because, like, if we're thinking about it, right, the light is behind them, and the, what's it called? The ambient light is, they're facing us, where, well, the side of their face that's facing us is in the ambient light, which is blue, or purple, or whatever I decide it to be. So, I kind of want more blue tones somewhere in here. But I might just achieve that with an overlay layer and be really lazy about it. Yeah, it's way past time for Gil to just deal and partake. Agree. He's, yeah. And I have a feeling, I hate to say this, I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to be very upset in the next few chapters. Not that y'all aren't already upset with how Gil's behaving, but there's some things that need to happen from a... How do I want to say this? From a psychological... From a psychological standpoint on their relationship, and in a sense of how I want to be accurate in how I'm portraying the dynamics of the relationship and how it... Because so much of Partake was me looking at the dynamic between Elrond and Gil-galad in Rings of Power and going, that seems really messed up. How would that actually play out in a realistic fashion? In terms of, you know, how how do we get here with these dynamics that they have? And putting it under a microscope, there are some things psychologically that need to happen in the next couple of chapters in terms of stages that their relationship goes through that I think a lot of people are really going to be unhappy about. For lack of a better way to phrase it. But Gil is going to have some hard realizations soon. And I hope I can just make it get through his bastard brain. But I've set new goals for myself because I really want to update more frequently. And so the goal that I have set is I would like to finish 750 words a day. And I know that might sound like a lot, but for me it's really not. And they don't have to be good words. They could be like outlined words count, or me just rambling on a page counts. But I have to sit down and I have to add like work in progress related words, 750 of them in my document every weekday. And that's been working out pretty well. I'm making quite good progress. And 750 is the ideal. There will be days where I don't hit that 750 mark, and that's okay. And that's partially why it's at 750. But that way, then I'm still writing somewhere around 3,000 words a week. Which will just allow me to get chapters out a lot more on a lot more regular basis, is what I'm trying to say. Small goals are great. Yeah, they are. I used to have, when I was working on my personal project, the novel that I have finished that I am trying to get, well, that I may try to get traditionally published. When I was working on finishing the draft of that, the final draft, the goal for that was 350 words every day. And that wound up being quite manageable. And it was such a small amount that it really felt like nothing to sit down and write. But then I was making noticeable progress every week, and it was just so satisfying. So yeah, small goals really are the best. But I've been thinking with my personal projects, I've been talking this over with my partner, who is also my writing partner. What we're going to do probably for our joint project, the sci-fi project, is we are going to probably buy a domain and then upload it like a serial novel situation and just host it online, because the state of the publishing industry, I'm just not a fan of any of my options. There are reasons that I want to publish my current project traditionally, but I don't like any of my hosting options if I were to self-publish, especially not, God forbid, Amazon. And I feel like it would be kind of cool to just buy a domain and upload chapters like a blog post every week. So that was our plan for that. I may even wind up doing that with other projects. So yeah, I like to set goals about 500 on a particular project. I'm having trouble with it. Yeah, I think that's a really good strategy. For me, it winds up being, when I set goals, it's always like, this has to be so stupidly low that I can convince myself to sit down and do it, even if I don't feel like doing it. Which right now, 750 words on most of my projects really does feel that stupidly low. for my personal projects, that 350 word goal was that thing where it's like, this is so outrageously low that I could do it no matter how I feel. Again, with the caveat of it doesn't have to be good. Sometimes the goal is I want to write so many clean words, and that's a different thing. Because most of the time I write very clean. Because I don't really edit all that much. I do proofread a lot. But I like to work from an outline, and I like to make things clean. And then when I'm working on personal projects, I will do a rewrite. Usually because so much has changed by the time that I have finished writing the first draft. In terms of, I never fully know who a character is until I've written them. And so there are so many things that I will learn about a character that by the time that I've hit the end of writing the first draft, they're a completely different person. And not in terms of development, just in terms of how I understand them from how I started at the beginning. So there'll be a lot of rewrite happening just down to like character development and changing how somebody might interact. Or understanding a bit of backstory that then I need to work in. Yes, I will get it configured. Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like it's a long-term project. I'm so ready for more Partake angst, but also stressed. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited. And I think my next project after Partake is done, because Partake will be done way before Boundless Sky is done, purely because of the sheer volume of character arcs that I am juggling in Boundless Sky. I think my next project is going to be probably the Celeron Deranged Marriage AU. I think that's the one that I have the most, like, solidly planned for. But also, man, I need to write a kidnap fanfic. I feel like it's kind of a crime that I haven't written one yet. There we go. I'm starting to be happy with this render. I will alter the colors a lot. Right now I'm just kind of working off of a, I don't know what to call it, a daylight assumption. So I'm working off of as if these colors were being seen in like a normal lighting situation. And then I will alter them later. Digitally. Which I could not do if I was doing this traditionally, but it's something that I can do. It's a little shortcut. I want to use a pen for the details on his collar. Yeah. Yeah, I've done a GRM, so many plot lines and characters. Yeah. That's what always happens to me, though. I literally cannot help myself when it comes to, like, ensemble casts. Because I get so attached to everybody. Especially when it comes to, like, families. Family dynamics are fascinating to me. I literally cannot help myself with with exploring family dynamics when it comes to characters. That's why, like, I've gotten so far with Fram. It's kind of a problem, honestly. So all of my all of my original work is all family dynamics. Even the sci-fi project, it's essentially just a bunch of family dynamics, but in space and politics involved. So yes, like Game of Thrones, I suppose. but in space. So it's I find it very fascinating. I think I want like this situation here. Yeah. I'm not fully happy with how the perspective on this hand turned out, but this is one of those situations where I went c'est la vie and moved on because I was fussing with it too much. And I also have to recognize that not everybody is going to be staring at my art quite as critically as I am staring at my art. Oh yeah, also Kaftia Bailiffs. Ah, yeah. That's the problem. Partake may have turned into 2 Fix now. So that's another situation that may be happening. And Fram is a deeply interesting character. Yeah, I find Fram an incredibly interesting character. Because he's so complex and because, like, he's doing his best with the information that he has, and a lot of the information is super flawed. And his environment sucks, but he's doing his best. And that makes him really, really fun to write. That's actually one of my favorite character archetypes to write. I have a lot of characters like that, also in my original fiction, so he's so fascinating, he's so fun. And weirdly enough, Frumgar is one of my favorite characters to write on a page. Both Frumgar and Grimhild, Mrs. Frumgar, they're some of my favorite characters to write, purely because they are so interesting. And I love it. I love writing villains. I do. I love writing villains. I love putting them under microscopes. And with Fram, part of the fun for me is being able to do all that reverse engineering on his family. Both directions, and go, well, Fram is like this, so what is his family like? And well, Fram's family is like this, so how does that affect Fram? And it's so fascinating, it's so fun. Yeah. But I'm glad that everybody else finds them as fascinating as I do, because otherwise we'd be in really, really deep shit with a large chunk of the plotline, because a large chunk of the plotline revolves around Fram and the Eothad. So, yeah. It is a relief to hear that he is fascinating. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do now... I have an idea with the shadows and the light in the background, but I'm not exactly entirely 100% certain how I'm going to execute it. So we're gonna play around for a bit. You guys will see my mess. Oh, before I do that, actually, I think I want to... Let's see, where's my line layer? That's my line layer. I'm going to clip... where's my button? There it is. I'm going to clip this layer to the line layer and see if this works. We're going to go for somewhere around there for color. Nope, wrong layer. Come on. Clippy clip. Yep. There we go. Yeah. And we're gonna get rid of... this here. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that decision to do that. I'm not gonna do all of his lines. but we'll probably do the outline in this color. And all I'm doing here is clipping. I'm making a layer above my line layer, and then I'm using, this is in Clip Studio Paint, I'm clipping the layer, the above layer to my line layer, and then I'm going over the layer that I've clipped in the color that I want the lines to be. But this is going to require some fussing, because there are certain lines that I want to make sure don't do this. Yeah. And we might try making some of these like a hypersaturated red. Do I like that? They don't. Probably leave them the color that they are. For the definition in the line work. That's why. Yeah, I want to put him under a microscope as well. Yeah, the claws on his hand. Elrond's the little clawy hands. Little extra spooky. Actually, I think I want to make that like a... Because again, like when you shine your... I don't know if you ever did this as a kid, but if you shine your hand under like a flashlight, you always get like red coming through. And we'll see if I wind up liking that. I kind of might want a slightly darker color. Yeah. And maybe in certain areas, go lighter with it. Okay. And the rest of some of these edges I'm going to make white. Not all of them, just some of them. Yeah, I think we'll start with that. If I want to do more later, I can. Yeah, also Fade Limit as well. So, yeah, I agree. It's not just Fam, it's Faye. It's what Fram, it's Frey. I can't speak. Not just Fram, it's Faye. There we go. There we go. It's both of them. She's interesting too because she's... I don't know, I feel like a lot of the characters that I've written thus far who have been in their society bracket, if that makes sense, in the Aeothid, have been, like, super hard. And Faye is really soft. Because even Fram, to an extent, has that hard and kind of those rough edges that he's acquired. Whereas Faye seems to have retained, like... And part of that is age, but that part of that is just Faye. And that's really fascinating to me that she's been able to sort of retain that. Amidst everything going on, amidst having Grimhild for a mom and having Frimgar for a dad. She's just a really interesting character to me. So... she kind of gives me almost like Sansa vibes, where she's both soft but not soft. Okay. So yeah, now what I'm gonna do... Oh, I haven't even, like, hardly touched Tailface hair. That's a problem. Let's do that real quick. Whoops. Before I do anything else, I need to get some rendering going on in his hair. Yeah, that's my render layer. Okay. There we go. I think I might swap to my gouache brush. I normally like this brush specifically for doing hair because of the taper. Here we go. Yeah. But yeah, like with Lionel, I really am excited because there's so much of his backstory that we haven't even touched. To a different extent than with Elrian. Because there's just so much that he doesn't think about and so much that he buries. And there are things that he remembers and things that he doesn't remember and things that he will remember as they are triggered, and it's fun. It's very, very fun. I love playing with characters who, if that wasn't obvious already with what's going on in Partake with Elrond, I love playing with characters who like suppress things and suppress memories, or who have forgotten things, or who are afraid of forgetting things. It's very, I think it's very underutilized in a lot of stories. It's a very fun way to add in conflict. Like internal conflict, I should say. Okay, there. I think that's about as much as I feel like doing on his hair. All right. I like rendering art on these streams because I feel like I stop overthinking so much. Because I know that I have like a time limit. So I feel like, and because I know that you guys are watching me, so then I don't fuss with it as much as I may normally fuss with it. I feel like there's a lot more fuck it, we ball energy going on. Okay. So now we're gonna play with some colors, with some tints. I think we're gonna go with, well, I kind of like the idea of more of a purpley blue overlay layer on this. We'll see. We'll play around and we'll see what happens with it. So, bring the opacity down to start with. And then I'm gonna start erasing. And we're just gonna play. And we're gonna see what I like and what I don't like. I suppose this is kind of the equivalent of throwing like a tint, a wash over your piece, but with more control from like a traditional perspective. But I like doing this and then erasing because I have a really hard time thinking in terms of shapes often. And especially with this, and then with, like, sometimes I use the lasso tool to do cell shading. And it really forces me to think about things in basic shapes. But yeah, I'm just trying to think about where the light is hitting on my subject, and then erasing those areas. That's all. There. We're going to do a bit of blending. In certain areas. Just make that a bit less harsh. And then finish erasing the rest of this out here on my light half. Yeah, great. I do need to brighten up some of these areas on Tialpe. Just again, areas where the light is probably hitting him. Okay. Blend some more of that out. Yeah. And then, yeah, we need to pop some more shadows in here. I'm kind of purposefully not trying to make the shadows that Elrond is casting make any sort of sense. Only the ones that Tialpe is casting. Just to add to that kind of monstery effect. And also making the shadow that he is casting purposefully larger than the form that I have drawn for him. Really dig the idea of a Tialpe that looks more like Miriel, like Rinks power through us as Silverblonde and Charlie, and that actually makes it more interesting. I agree. Like, I think it's fun if there's maybe some compensation in the name Coder Finwë. In terms of, like, Coder just kind of panicking and going, well, he doesn't look very much like my dad, and, like, if maybe Tialpe looks a lot like his mother. But also I love the idea that he looks a lot like Muriel. I don't know. I have like a thing cooking in my brain. For the... It is very Rings of Power specific, but I have an idea like cooking in my brain for Fëanor, Celebrimbor parallels and honoring the legacy of their mothers, and TLP looking a lot like Muriel and also looking a lot like his mom. I don't know. It's not very fully formed. It's not very fully cooked, but it's cooking in there. I have thoughts. And then what I want to do is I kind of want to take the yellow. Oh, what layer is that on? Oh, right, we have that overlay layer. Where is that? It's here. I'm going to pull that down under the line layer and then do a layer on top and paint in some of these the way the light is dappling on the wall. So I kind of want, I don't know, I kind of want like a, There's something that I'm considering here with the, yeah. The lines, but I'm not sure how I want to do it yet. Oh, the age-old question. What layer is that on? There we go. You know what I need to do? I need to go on to another layer before I do any of this. Really what I should be doing is laying down a composition. I can't believe I haven't laid down a composition because I know the composition that I want. It's that situation. And that's the shape situation that I need to be following. So. You made it to stream, Esper Lady. Hi! Hello! Good night. Have a good rest of your night. I'm so glad that you stopped by. Me with something cooking in my brain is never a good sign. Look, sometimes it is. You gotta admit that sometimes. Let's see. Debating. How I want to go about this. I think I'm gonna use my trusty little liquify tool to do some of this here. Because I kind of feel like this yellow isn't... This has nothing to do with the liquify tool. I just feel like this yellow isn't bright enough. Age-old question. What layer is that on? That layer, okay. I want to use like a more just like watercolory brush for this. Yeah, what I'm going for here again is like that pull of the light. In a very stylized way. And we'll probably go in with my liquify tool again after I finish laying some of this down. Yeah. What am I drawing? I am drawing some Eldritchy Elrond with some Rings of Power Celebrimbor. That's what we're doing today. It's this little like piece that I've been poking at for a little while and playing with. So let me get rid of my composition lines. Yeah, I'm getting more happy with that. And then we're going to go in with the liquify tool again. Happens, absolutely nothing happens if I pull that layer down there. That's good. That's what I want. Oh, that's another overlay layer. All right. And that's the yellows. Okay. So I'm gonna do some more liquify. And then, there we go. That's what I think that's what I want. What? What layer is that on? Hang on. Hello? What? I'm so confused. I don't know. I'm just gonna start painting somewhere and we'll figure it out. Hello? It's so yummy. Thank you. I'm glad. I am so confused as to what is going on right now. I can't tell if this is me being stupid with my layers or if my art program is just glitching. No? Okay. It's just me not understanding how layers work. It's fine. So, I'm just pulling some more like line shapes in. We're just playing at this point. I'm basically done. I do kind of want to reaffirm the halo a little bit. So we're gonna stick that. I think that's not big enough. Yeah, somewhere around there. And right now I'm quiet because I'm trying to decide what I'm about to do. Because there's things about this that I don't like yet, but I haven't really put my finger on them. So that's the struggle that I'm having right now. One of the things I need to get rid of is... what line is that? Where is that? What layer? This is where I need to label my layers. I said this at the beginning. I didn't label my layers for this piece, and it's causing me a bunch of grief. Just solidify that line a little bit. Yeah, there's things that I don't fully like about the background, but that might be something that I have to mess with off stream because it's going to take me a while to figure out what it is that I'm not happy with. But we're getting there. I think for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a fun and flirty little glow layer, because when am I not going to do a fun and flirty little glow layer? Just on Elrond, mostly. Just to brighten up some of the areas that should be bright. Bring the opacity down. But yeah, we're getting there. We need to get in there on those eyeballs. There we go. I don't have any reflective on Tialpe's eyes, and that's a problem. Let's see. Get in there with a white pen. There we go. It's better. Yeah, there's still definitely like a lot of work to do on this in terms of to a point that I am happy with it. But we're getting there. We're getting there. I think at this point I need to like take a step back from it and actually strategize rather than just fussing with it for eternity. Because if I fuss with it for eternity without any real goals, then I'm just going to be fussing with it for eternity. And it won't really get anywhere and I will get super frustrated. So, but yeah, I'm happy with the progress that we made on it today. And I had a lot of fun chatting. We've been streaming for a while now. So, yeah. I think that's where I'm going to end the stream today, with an almost finished piece of art. But thank you for everybody who showed up, who hung out, who chatted. Yeah, I'm going to definitely shoot for that Project Zomboid stream on Tuesday. And then we'll do art again next Friday. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a really good weekend. I hope that this was enjoyable. Yes, please ask your question. I would love to hear the question. Thank you, Meta. But yeah, I'm having a good time with this one. It's always a good time when I get to draw some Eldritch Paradol. But we're just chilling. You said in a previous stream that second age problems could have been avoided if Elrond had a doc. Explain. This is one of those out-of-pocket things that I say. So my reasoning is that okay. So this goes back to my transitive property Luthien, where so my transitive property in terms of what Elrond looks like is that so Arwen looks a lot like she's said to be Luthien come again on Earth. It's also said by Tolkien that she looks exactly like Elrond, like that it's kind of freaky how much she looks like Elrond, right? So if we apply the transitive property, we can assume that Elrond looks exactly like Luthien. Like just like boy Luthien. And we know that Luthien absolutely kicks Sauron's ass. So this is one of those things that I joke about where I'm like, I'm pretty sure that if we'd just given Elrond a really big dog to mimic Juan, in the Second Age, that it would have just scared it would have just scared Sauron enough that he wouldn't have tried anything. And he would have just like peed himself and run away from Middle-earth crying and screaming. Because he would have just had flashbacks to the First Age when Luthien kicked his ass with Juan. That's my reasoning. So, it's very dumb, but it does give me a chuckle. Alright, so, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for everybody who showed up. This was a good time. We'll do more art next Friday. Yeah. Have a good rest of your week. Bye.